What it do, YouTube? Houston coming at you with a video. 713 to buy. Yo, City, we in the building. So, the Houston Texans march into Arlington, Texas, what they call Dallas, known as Jerry World, and handle their business by a score of 34-10 for the first time ever in Dallas. After losing the previous three there, having never won there, it's safe to say that the Texans never trailed. And what won them this game is, the defense had their moments, especially in the pass defense. They did give up 300 plus yards passing the Cooper Rush. But I say the run defense did their thing today. Though their defense and the running game won them the game. Mixon had 3 rushing TDs, total of 153 yards, 109 yards through the ground and 44 through the air. Nico had about 52, 54 yards receiving in his return. Though, he would have had up to 2 touchdowns. The first one was called back because of a penalty by Tunsil. And then the ball that was behind him, which led to being intercepted. If that ball wasn't behind him, touchdown. So, the Texans did leave like 14 points, which would have led to them having 48 points. But they did get to defend 2 touchdowns in the second half, one on offense and one on defense. The offensive one is what ended the second half, drought of 23 possessions without a second half TD. Though there's still work to be done, and yes, there are still things that needs to be cleaned up. Yeah, it sucks that Kamari Laster didn't play along with Will Anderson, but I feel like they giving up 300 plus yards. The Cooper Rush was kind of inexcusable, giving up, yards. But even with that, they did hold Dallas to 10 points, even though they hung with them in the first half. But then the Texans decided to flex their muscles in the second half. Started with a Derek Barnett, strip sacking, and then Guyton recovered, then Petrie forced it, and then Barnett returned it for a TD. The last player to do that, force a fumble, recover, and return for a TD was D'Amico Ryans when he played for the Texans, which was week 7 in the 2007 campaign against the Tennessee Titans. Yep, that was the last player to do it. And Stingley, had him a pick, should have had 3 picks had he found a way to hold on to it. While Kalen Bullock could have had him the easiest interception, and he dropped it. Hell, if anything, the Texans would have had up to 6 forced turnovers if you think about it, which would have had them 11 turnovers forced in the last 2 games. But hey, it is what it is. More like 7 turnovers in the last 2 games. But Archer did go down, but thankfully he came back. Tim Settle got him. Texans had about 5 sacks. 2 of them by Daniil Hunter. Tim Settle had him a sack. Yeah, Nico had 54. Tank had 54. I would have loved Dalton Schultz to have a breakout game, but as far as the defense, Nico had him a sack. Daniil, 2 sacks. Tim Settle, and of course Derek Barnett had the strip sack. And like I mentioned, Cooper Rush had over 300 yards passing. And John Mechie made a special teams play on an attempted fake punt by the Cowboys. And Stroud had what, 257 yards. It's unfortunate he didn't have a touchdown. Thanks to one that was called back. And like I just mentioned, the ball that was behind Nico, which led to it being intercepted. But thankfully, I'm just glad that the Texans got back in the win column in an important fashion, because knowing that the Colts won their game, had Houston lost, Indy would have been behind them by just one game. Sure, we still on the tiebreaker, but man, the Texans needed to win this game. And next up, they play the Tennessee Titans at home. I mean, I'm not sleeping on them, and they got a pretty solid defense, but doesn't accept the fact that the Texans got to handle their business one game at a time on a consistent level. I mean, yeah, like I said it before, it's going to be some bumps and bruises, but can't let that get in the way of the Texans handling business, this Sunday when Tennessee comes to town come week 12. But other than that, hey, yeah, off moment. Yeah, they had their moments. Jeff Okuda gave up a 64-yard bomb to Devontae Turpin, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, the pain in the butt right there. But yeah, got to clean some things up. Watch some film. Have a great week of practice, and be prepared for these next two division games before their bye week. Because their bye week's in 2 more weeks now. So handle these business next 2 games, because I would like to go into the bye week 9-4. But like I say, one game, I believe in one game at a time. So yeah, Houston wins in Jerry World. They move to 7-4, and hopefully Kamari Lassiter can play this game along with Will Anderson if his ankle's feeling a lot better. So there's that. Got to give a shout out to Cowboys Corner, Cowboys Face. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to Simas. Shout out to Cowboys X Factor. And also shout out to all the Dallas Cowboy fans living in Houston, by the way. And got to shout out to Houston Texans fans, though, that showed out in Dallas at AT&T Stadium. And, of course, got to shout out Stephen Rose, 713 Houston Sports. Shout out Ruben Cavillo. I'm not sure if I pronounced his last name right, but shout out to Ruben, known as 713 Houston Sports. Eastside Herald, shout out to you, bro. Shout out to the entire Houston Texans fan base for representing through good and bad. The day one fans at that. Shout out to all of them. Shout out to y'all, including myself too, that's been repping the Houston Texans fan base since day F1. But that's about all. But just want to put my 2 cents in on this Victory Tuesday video. And hey, let's go Houston Texans. Let's go beat the Tennessee Titans this Sunday. And yeah, it's going to be a video coming.